him. Well, everybody, this is Pablo Divelo, National Director with iZigg. We're doing a special call tonight. We appreciate you taking the time to join us. A friend of yours or an acquaintance, somebody that thought very highly of you, invited to get on this call to hear a little bit about a phenomenal company that is taking over the nation, iZigg 90210. We have a very special guest tonight, so make sure you pay attention, take notes. If you have seen the videos, the person that invited you to the call have referred you to our website. You watch the videos 1, 2, 3. Jason is actually on video number 2. He's been extremely successful in the cooperative marketing industry over the last 20 years. He's a well-known speaker, a phenomenal leader, and we're very, very privileged tonight to have him joining us from Atlanta, Georgia, to tell a story that hasn't been told yet. So, with no further ado, I'd like to introduce iZigg co-founder Jason Borne.
Pablo, thank you so much. Can you hear me okay?
You are great.
Great. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to be online with everyone, and I know we've got some people here that are hearing about iZigg for the very first time, and I sat where you were sitting about 2 years ago. I got a telephone call from CEO and founder of iZigg, Mr. Brian Underwood, who I've known for the last 20 years. And at that point, there was no iZigg. There was no 90210. This was just a concept Brian basically had put down on paper that obviously now, Pablo, is becoming a tangible reality. As you know, we've grown across the country over the last 8 or 9 months, and you've been a huge part of that. And we obviously appreciate everything that you're doing to build your team as you're building a team literally crisscrossing the country. And, you know, we've been able to do it because of people like you. And we jumped into the top 3,000 websites on the internet on Alexa several months ago. We've blown past about 300 other text marketing and mobile media companies like they were standing still, and have become the #1 fastest growing text marketing and mobile media company in the country. And the good news about that is nobody's ever heard of us. And we are still at the infancy stages of this company, because you're at the infancy stages of this market and this technology, where experts predict that right now the text marketing, mobile media technology, right now there's about a 4 to 5% market penetration rate across the country, but that's moving to 90% over the next 18 to 24 months. And so real opportunity happens, as most of you know on the line, when you can be first with an idea and first to go tell the world about that idea and position yourself at the inception, at the beginning of a growth curve. And so when Brian called me, it wasn't to get on a conference call, it was actually to get on an airplane. He said, I want you to go on the next flight to New York City, because I'm going to show you something today that's going to blow your mind. Now, I live in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, so it's kind of an interesting request, but I looked at my fiance, Jen, now my wife. We were planning our wedding at the time, and I looked at her and I said, I'm going to New York. She says, for what? I said, because phone calls like this from Brian don't come often, but when they come, there's always a lot of money on the other end. And so I flew to New York that day. I walked out in the middle of Times Square, Pablo, with Brian, and you know, he said, look up. He showed me what he showed most of you on the iZigg.com website, where he looks up and he says, look at the hundreds of millions of dollars of advertising that are spent every single year in the advertising capital of the world. But look at people's eyes. And as you looked at the electronic billboards, the pictures of models and movie stars on the side of buildings, you looked at people, and everybody's eyes were on their mobile phones. Thousands of people, without exception, were all looking at their mobile phones. They were texting as they walked through don't walk signs, texting as they tripped on curbs, texting as they ran into each other. They were all texting. They were all staring at that phone, at that device now that the Wall Street Journal calls the most valuable 4 inches of real estate on the planet. That device that's now become an extension of our arms, that device that we literally go to sleep with, we wake up with, we walk with, we talk with, we drive with, we eat with, we go to church with, we do everything with. And so Brian looked at me that day and said, Jason, we're going in the mobile media business because it's where people's eyes are all the time. And Pablo, if you look at the value of where people's eyes are, look no further than Facebook, and you realize that this little kid, Mark Zuckerberg, and again, before there was a movie, before there was, you know, this incredible story and everybody knew it, this little kid, Mark Zuckerberg, starts this company in his dorm room at Harvard University, and then ultimately he moves it to 500 million people across the world in 7 years, who at an average of 55 minutes a day stare at that Facebook page. And ultimately what happened was Facebook became its own economy. Facebook would be the third largest country in the entire world if it was a country. But what's the value of Facebook? It's the advertising dollar. It's the fact that you're a church, you're a social organization, you're a company, you're somebody that wants to get in front of people. It's the only way to get in front of people today, until now, until the mobile device. And Brian said, that's a $50 billion company today because of the value of where people's eyes are. But he said, where people's eyes are even more than on their Facebook page, even more than on their desktop and their laptop, even more than they're on each other, their eyes are on that mobile device. And so if you're a company out there, if you're one of the 30 million small businesses in this country and you want to connect with people, right now you have no idea. You have no idea. You probably don't understand social media, number one. Number two, you're spending money on billboards that nobody looks at because they're texting. You're spending money on commercials that nobody looks at because of TiVo and DVR. You're spending money on yellow page ads, and half the phone books in this country, I don't know if you live like where I live, but where we live, half of the front porches have cellophane bags, yellow, blue, or orange, that have a phone book in them. Because people don't even open them, but they spend $1 billion a year on these things called the yellow pages. And so ultimately people are scratching their heads trying to figure out, how am I going to advertise? And then you've got another huge need out there in this country. You got 30 million people that are looking for a way to have a better life. They're looking for opportunity, more than they've ever looked before. 15 million of them lost their jobs in the last 18 months. And so with iZigg, Pablo, we give people the opportunity to marry those two needs, to find those needs, fill those needs, connect those needs, and give a solution to businesses, a solution to anyone that wants to connect with people, as well as a solution for people that are looking for a way to create a secondary or third income, or maybe even primary income. And we do that through this text marketing and mobile media product. And Brian and I had the opportunity to meet a guy by the name of David Leniato. And, when you look at businesses and you evaluate businesses, which hopefully is what you're doing on this call tonight, number one, if you go to a VC firm, and I've had some experience in doing this, and you want this VC firm to give your company $100 million to launch your idea, the first question, Pablo, that they ask you is, who are the players? Who are the people behind the business? They don't want to know about the concept. They want to know about the people, because there's some great concepts. There's some great ideas. But if they're steered by the wrong people, if the wrong people are driving the ship, then the business will fail 100% of the time. So they want to know the players. And the players here are very important, because we're firm believers that you can be in a great business, but if the wrong people are behind it, again, it's not going to make it. And one of those guys is a guy by the name of David Leniato. And David started a company when he was literally a freshman in college. It was at Emory University in Atlanta, right here where we are, here in downtown Atlanta. And it was a student discount card company. Now, this is important because of what happened through Dave's career and how it led him into the text marketing and mobile media world. Because what he did is he created this student discount card. Now, they told him he was crazy. He was going to build a $1 billion company with a student discount card. They said it would never work. Then it started to work. They said it would never last. And then they said he got lucky, which is pretty much the story of every modern-day success story. But David ended up taking that one student discount card from his parents' basement in his dorm room in Emory, and he built that company to $1 billion market cap. They raised over $70 million, and at one point he had over 2 million kids that were carrying around the student discount card. It was the largest internet portal for college students before Facebook. And he was able to cash out of that company and do very, very well in his mid-20s, but then he was approached with a technology. And here's where it got interesting. It was a technology that would allow you to send out a text message from a computer to literally 100,000 people all at the same time with the press of a button. He took that technology and he said, college campuses where I work with this card, they need this because they can't communicate with their students, because the students weren't reading emails anymore. There was no way, if there was, heaven forbid, an emergency on a college campus, a hurricane, an earthquake, something like a Virginia Tech incident, to reach the kids all in real time. And so he started selling that to major colleges and universities as a way for them to connect via text message. Then he went to the local merchants that he did the student discount card deals with. He went to a Domino's Pizza at University of Florida at Gainesville, and he said, why don't you use this as a way to communicate to your students who are looking at their phones more than they're looking at each other, as a way to get deals on pizzas. And so the guy was all over it. He said, well, how does it work? He said, well, it's like American Idol, where you text the keyword vote to the short code 5701, 5702, 5703. Same concept here. But in this case, the guy's keyword was Domino's Pizza. So the guy literally on all of his stuff, every one of his billboards, his TV ads, his radio ads, his signs inside and outside of his building, everything he was doing to advertise, from putting on his pizza boxes to having his delivery people hand out flyers to wrapping their cars, he put for a $5 pizza deal, text Domino's Pizza to this random 5-digit number. And what happened? What happened was, over the course of the next 30 days, kids around that college campus saw these ads, and they all were hungry. They all didn't have a lot of money. They all wanted a deal on a pizza, so they all texted Domino's Pizza to this random 5-digit number called a short code. And over the course of 30 days, 5,000 kids opted in on a Friday afternoon. Dave decided that it was time, and they sent out this message to 5,000 kids on a Friday afternoon that said, come in tonight between, let's say, 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock and get a $5 large pizza, and we're going to throw in a free large pizza booth. What happened? 5,000 kids got that message on their phone instantaneously. And that guy sold more pizzas in the next 4 hours than he had ever sold in 4 days. And that was the beginning of this concept. Now, I want you to think about businesses out there today. Think about every restaurant you've ever been in and how they can utilize that technology. Think about every school and how they can communicate with that technology to their kids and their parents and their teachers if the school is going to be closed because of weather or anything going on. Think about colleges and universities. Think about every social organization, church you can imagine. Every business in America has an application for this product some way and somehow. And what iZigg does is it gives you the opportunity, if you're on this line for the very first time tonight, to go have that same conversation with the Domino's Pizza in your neighborhood. Have the same conversation with the McDonald's. Have the same conversation with the boutique owner or the place where you eat pizza on Friday night or Lebanese food on Tuesday afternoon, and give them a way to move traffic through their business like they've never seen before, the most affordable way for them to market and to advertise and to promote, but also the most effective. Again, the most affordable, but also the most effective. Now, we had the opportunity, before we started our company, to meet a guy by the name of Eitan Albaz. You talk about the players. Dave got a telephone call one day from this kid. Now, you can Google this kid. It's a pretty good, interesting story. He started a company with his brother in 1998 called Applied Semantics. Applied Semantics created the contextual technology that we now know today as Google AdSense. They sold Google AdSense and Applied Semantics to Google in 2003 for a little north of $200 million. Eitan became the head of the domain division at Google. He would buy and sell domain names. And he figured that something was going on. There was a huge shift happening. People's eyes were shifting from their desktops and their laptops to their mobile phones. And he said the future was going to be the way, not in these .coms, but the way that people would be communicated to on their mobile device. Because internet connections by the hundreds of millions are moving from desktops and laptops to mobile devices. And he said it would be in this 5-digit short code. It would be in the short code that people would actually text in to want to get information from. He said, so that short code is going to be very, very valuable. Now, he understood the value of the recognizability of a domain name. As we talk about on that second video, Pablo, he said that the .com of the mobile media device was going to be this text short code. And so he started to do research from Google. He said, what's going to be the most widely recognized, widely searched, widely most valuable, most branded 5-digit number in the entire world? And he came back, beyond a shadow of a doubt, with 90210. In 80 countries where people don't even speak English, they understand 90210 because of the brand that TV show created, because of the brand of Beverly Hills. That TV show was popular when I was a kid. Guess what? Now it's one of the #1 TV shows on television again. And so it's out there. People get it. They understand it. And so Eitan acquired that short code, and he found David Leniato. He said, Dave, you know more about text marketing than anybody in the world. Why don't we partner? Why don't we go sell that same product you sold to that Domino's Pizza to those schools, but with this short code to every 30 million business owners in the United States of America, to every church, social organization all across the world? Why don't we become first to go tell this story in a big way? And we were able to acquire that 90210 short code. And so now not only do you have the opportunity to do what Dave did with that Domino's Pizza, you have the chance to do it with the #1 5-digit number in the entire world.